play in blocks of 3. The human mind isn't really designed to concentrate for longer than like 60, 90 minutes in such a high intensity environment like League of Legends. So again, play ranked games in blocks of 3. That means you can play 1 game, that means you can play 2 games, but it means you can never play more than 3 ranked games in a row without like taking a break. And this is again a really good strategy that I see a lot of players implement in order to reduce their tilt, as well as the never more than 2 losses in a row strategy. Hey guys, before we get into today's profile review, if you're interested in getting your own profile reviewed just like the one you're about to watch, or interested in the things I talk about in terms of coaching, personalized coaching solutions, please check out the links in the description below. Let's get into the video. So currently you are gold 4 with a 49% win rate with over 400 games played, and your goal is to get to mid platinum. And the biggest thing you've stated that is holding you back is your mental, so like tilt, frustration, and then your ability to not be able to stick to a certain role or champions. And so we're going to be focusing the profile review around those 2 things in order for you to get the most value out of it, and then talk about how you can kind of solve those things. So the first one is not being able to stick to a role or champion. And this is something you really need to fix if you are serious about climbing into platinum, into diamond, etc., because you're really trying to go from like the top 30% of players to the top 15 to 10% to 5% of players. So this is something you really need to figure out, and I'm going to give you a pretty good strategy that you can fix this with. So we're just going to put here champ. Cool. So when players come to me and they're not sure what champion or role they want to play, well, I say that they're kind of in this discovery phase or learning phase, and I do not want to stop that phase from happening, because I think it's a really important part of a player's journey in becoming a better player in League of Legends. So what I would recommend is getting a Smurf account and continuing to play all the different champions and all the different roles until you select some that you like. So this could take 1 month, this could take a week, this could take 3 months, this could take 6 months. Maybe it could take forever, and what you'll end up having to do is just pick one role to climb with, and then you play on your other account for, learning, having fun, and when you get bored or you're getting a little bit bored of the current champions or role you're playing, that's when you go back to that second account. So that's what I recommend, basically splitting your games into 2 accounts. So you have your one account, this account that is for climbing, trying to get to plat, trying to get to diamond. Sorry, my dogs are barking in the background. And then you have your account for everything else. So this allows someone like you who can't decide what champions they want to play, who can't decide what role they want to play, it allows you to safely break up that gameplay and understand, okay, these are the champs I like, these are the champs I'm good at, okay, I'm going to bring them over to my main. And the general rule of thumb for can I bring a champion over to my main account is generally, well, can you over 20, 30 ranked games average at least a 55% win rate on them? And if you can bring them over to your main account, because right now it's at a 49% win rate. So if you can play a champion at a 55% win rate in gold 4, we're doing well, and we're going to be working towards your goal of going into plat. So that's the first one. So you really need to split that up. And if you need help with your champion pool, with figuring out what champions to play and building out that strategy, that's what we offer as a coaching service. So please, once you've watched this, reach out to me if you're interested in that. Now, the second thing, mentality. Again, this is something that can't really be solved over a profile review. I have an entire course built for it. I can send you a link to that once you've watched the recording. I'll also put it in the YouTube description below. But I have a course basically helping players become untiltable. And the idea here is like controlling your emotions, controlling your mentality, and not letting other people affect your performance in regards to, well, if they play badly, that doesn't mean you have to behave badly or play badly as a result. Their poor performance doesn't necessarily have to mean you get tilted or you get angry. So I really break down how to deal with bad players, how to deal with things that tilt you, and how to effectively turn tilt into, control, mental control, and therefore winning more games, more consistent gameplay, less loss streaks, more win streaks, all of that kind of stuff. A really easy tip though to control your mentality would be to never play more than 2 losses of ranked in a row, because that third game you're going to be really tilted, you're going to be really frustrated, and chances are you're not going to be playing at your best. And play in blocks of 3. The human mind isn't really designed to concentrate for longer than like 60, 90 minutes in such a high intensity environment like League of Legends. So again, play ranked games in blocks of 3. That means you can play 1 game, champion, that means you can play 2 games, but it means you can never play more than 3 ranked games in a row without like taking a break. And this is again a really good strategy that I see a lot of players implement in order to reduce their tilt, as well as the never more than 2 losses in a row strategy. Now, in terms of like ways you could go, it looks like your Zaya potentially has the most on paper success, or potential success you have. I can also see your Caston having a little bit of success, and even like your Yasuo and Misfortune. So there's quite a few champions here, Ash, that I think you could do well with, but until you really figure out that 2 account strategy and you fix that mental problem that I've talked about, it's going to be really hard for you to actually climb, because you're just going to basically be continuing to do what you're currently doing, where it's, you're averaging a 44% win rate over your last 20 games. You're playing jungle, you're playing 80 carry, then you're going to switch to another role in a month's time. You might switch back to mid, and you're never going to be able to climb like that, Ash. So until you figure out exactly what I've talked about at the start of this video, it's going to be really hard for you to reach that goal. So please, once you've watched this, Ash, I've got a lot of coaching ideas in mind. What I think is best suited to you is like a custom coaching plan. So that would start off with like a 1 game review session where we would talk about, well, what champions do you want to play? What role do you want to focus on? And then break down, okay, this is the champion we need to master first, and working it out in a really systematic way, so that when you're coaching and when you're getting coached, and when you're playing on your main account, you have a clear strategy. And then when you're bored, or you want to have fun, or you're a bit frustrated, you go to your second account and you play those other champions, you learn those other roles, and you do whatever you want. But yeah, please, once you watch this, Ash, reach out to me and we can talk about that custom tailored coaching solution that will get you to plat and probably get you to diamond as well. As always, cheers. I hope you enjoyed the profile review, and good luck on the Rift.